Get a little closer. A little closer.
Right here.
Go.
Right there. That was almost a pancake.
Come on. Yes.
You got him, brother.
Oh, you got a lot of them.
Beautiful.
Let's get him out of here.
Those are some nice ones. Those might be thread fins,
Those are
Brandon.
thread fins. They are thread fins. They have the dots.
Oh yeah.
Those are thread.
Heck yeah, let's go fishing.
Yeah!
Let's go.
Buddy.
That's what we want, right there.
Here, let me get some water in the bucket. So we're out here with our friends
Lift it up now.
Karina and Adam, and we've been promising that we're going to get out on the boat for a long time. Since the first day we had the new boat is when we.
Tarpon bait right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him behind us, Brandon. We'll get some more.
Daddy, can you put this
Worst case, we'll freeze them, bud.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that'd be great.
So we got an outgoing tide. You can see the dirty water coming out of the inlet, and yeah, those are beautiful. Those are huge. Nighttime fishing. Then maybe later we're gonna come in and try to catch some shrimp. Got a special surf and turf that I want to do for this video. So I don't care if we got to eat our bait, then we'll eat our bait. But anyways.
He was waving at me.
All right, we need to buy a boat like that. That's on the bottom. That was a bottom rig. You go, girl.
Good job, girl. Work it.
Pulling some drag, whatever he is. That's a bottom fish too, so bottom
Keep pulling
rig.
him. Keep
Away
pulling.
from the motor.
Bottom rig, so.
Uh-oh. He's in the motor. All right, here you go.
Ah.
Get you off.
Good job,
All
sweetheart.
right.
It's all right.
That felt like my
Another
air.
shark, I think. Footage of him before you cut me off.
He's running. Now you got him.
You guys remember, if we're gonna bring this in the boat, I want everybody wrap it around your hand and swing them in a
Oh,
motion.
hold up. It's gonna snap. All right, 100% gonna snap. It's in his mouth.
There you
Told
go.
ya.
That's good. Perfect.
Daddy, did I get any?
Here's some popcorn shrimp.
Big one.
Don't you miss him.
No.
He's right there.
He's right on top. Nope.
Yes.
That time, B.
No, you didn't. He's right there.
Oh, that's.
He's right there.
Yeah, I see him too.
I thought you got him.
No, he
No,
was to the
didn't.
left.
I had to get in. He's right there.
Oh yeah.
Good job, Ellie.
Two really good ones.
All right. Well, guys, we've got something we can put on top of our steak.
One right there. Big one. Right there. Ah, he's not that big, but good size.
Look at these brown ones.
I got him.
Yeah, that's a good. There's two good ones in there, Ben.
Three. Let me get the net here.
Three in there. Get that little net.
Yeah.
Up.
Not the big one.
No. Get back here.
There's another one behind you.
Ow, he got me.
Behind you.
One right here on the seat.
And behind you.
Now, these brown ones, are these the pink?
Those look pink.
The pink Gulf shrimp, or I don't know what they call
Those
them.
look like pink Gulf shrimp, but they're so pink. Who knows, though?
Who knows?
Wait, I need the light.
Here, Dad, here's a couple more.
I have some too. I bet. I have so much weeds.
How many do I have on this?
And in here.
Isn't that wild? Oh. They got like super hard scales,
Almost
and then
like
look
a
at that
needlefish.
tail.
Brandon, here.
Look at that tail. Isn't that wild?
That's different.
They got a big tube of like a snout.
God's creation.
Yeah,
Look at
God's
the bone
creation.
structure in there,
Isn't that
man.
wild?
Well, I could.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
You too, man.
Thanks for coming out.
Bye, of course.
I hope we can do it again real
We'll make
soon.
it happen next time.
Yeah.
Have a good-
All right.
safe.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. We get a lot of shrimp.
Yes.
You got enough for dinner?
Yes.
Yeah, we got about a pound and a half.
That'll work.
I mean, it's enough for that, whatever we were talking about, but
He's a big one.
there's another one over here too. Another time.
Hey, Ellie, you want to take home a new cat?
Kinda.
All right, let me grab him for you. Come here, kitty, kitty, kitty. He ain't purring like a cat.
I remember that one that you found.
Does somebody need a hug?
Remember the one that you found in the middle of the road and you kept going like this?
Yeah, they cover their eyes. The babies do that. Check these out. Bison tenderloin. When we lived in Michigan, we always had 2 freezers out in the garage. You just walk out, open up the freezer. We'd have, you know, pork or beef or turkeys or chickens, stuff that we raised, but most of it was full of venison from hunting season. And we aged all our meat. We hung our deer as long as we possibly could, butchered them all ourselves. So it was always nice to be able to go out and get some wild game right out of the refrigerator. I chose to go with the bison. It doesn't have very much marbling. Really, it has no marbling, which is very similar to wild game. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add fat to it. We're gonna use butter, a cast iron skillet, and well, you're gonna just have to see. But what I want to do is I want to try and put these in the refrigerator, open to the air. But first, I'm gonna use this coarse pink Himalayan salt, and I'm gonna put salt over every part of this, and then let them sit in the refrigerator in the open air. If I could have done this last night, I would have. I think about 24 hours doing it that way is going to give you your best results, because what will happen is that salt will have time to actually permeate into the meat. Now, if you were to do this with beef and you had a lot of fat or a fat cap or whatever on the outside, it takes even longer than 24 hours sometimes for that fat to absorb that salt. They call it a dry brine, but I like, see the moisture. If you look under the light here, you can actually see how the salt, and you'll see that on your fish and any kind of meat. Now, fish you don't really want to do this to, but beef, what it does is that salt penetrates that meat and draws the liquid out. Now, if you could put this in the refrigerator, even, 24 hours, and don't cover it. You want the air to get at it. So there's a lot of different theories on, like, for example, when we're aging deer, we always leave the hide on it because we have very little control in some situations over, the temperature inside that area, unless you have a refrigerated unit, which most of us don't. But we leave the hide on. But I'm going to tell you, I've had meat where the hide was off and the temperature was right. See, if it's too cold, the meat will freeze. You don't want that. You want the enzymes to go to work. And when the enzymes, they're naturally in the meat, start to break the meat down naturally, that's when it changes the flavor. It changes the consistency. It makes it more tender. And that's how you can get rid of a lot of the gamey taste, you know. And of course, it all depends on a lot of things: where it was raised, how it was dispatched, you know. And if an animal's running around and it's wounded, and then it sends a lot of stuff through the meat that you just don't want, that changes the flavor. So it just all depends. But if I could let this age for a couple days in the refrigerator, you would see it would bring on a much darker red texture as it dries out, and the flavor is going to be amazing. So other thing is, guys, before you cook it, anytime you're cooking a nice thick steak like this, it's best to bring it to room temperature. So if you can get it out, set it up on the counter, and let it gradually come to room temperature, then that's going to give you a more even cook, because otherwise you're cooking a steak like this, the inside's still going to be cool, whereas the outside is going to be too well done. Brushing some butter on here. Melted butter, just to start. Okay, we got our iron skillet nice and hot. You can see it's smoking. Look at the difference now. You can see how that salt has mostly sucked into the meat. That must be the tail end. That might have a hard time standing up the other way, but we'll make it work. We got some of this cheese we're going to top this with once we flip it. This stuff has been aged for like over 90 days. But we're going to put that on top of there and give it some crazy good flavor. Here we go.
Doesn't that hurt?
Not enough hands that I can't feel. Cheese is already starting to melt. All right, we'll give it another second and we'll throw it straight in the oven. All right, got some melted butter in there. I'm gonna throw some garlic. Filming myself now, guys, so I apologize. Family had to take off and they're headed to Michigan. So I'm batching it. There we go. Garlic is starting to smell. Yum. All right. In go the shrimp. Doing the surf and turf. It's kind of fun when you can go out and catch your own. Sure, a lot of them are really small, but popcorn shrimp, I'll take them. Look at how fast they turn red. Won't take long. There you go. Surf and turf. Bison tenderloin and fresh shrimp from the Gulf. What I do is just preheat the oven to 400 degrees, sear it on both sides, slide them right in the oven, use a meat thermometer, 130, 135, you take it out and then let them stand and they'll continue to cook a little bit, which gets them to that nice pink color. Well, guys, it melts in your mouth. It is so tender, and that salt permeates the meat. I don't even know how to explain the taste of the cheese. It's phenomenal. Maybe, you know, some people may not like that strong flavor, but whew, home run in my book. Okay, you can see I'm sweating. Got a little warm in here. It's like 90 something degrees out, and turn that oven on to 400 degrees, but got the fans on. Wow. Super fresh. Like they went straight from the ocean into a cooler of ice, and from there into the refrigerator, and we just sauteed them up. The flavor is way different than like if you get frozen shrimp. Completely different, but fantastic. Wow. Fantastic, guys. It is absolutely delicious. So anyhow, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video. We're out.